Greetings of the day viewers, my name is Amarjit Kundu, faculty IHM Lucknow. Today I'll demonstrate how to prepare different bread roll shapes. These bread rolls are served in breakfast buffet and as an accompaniment of soup or main course. Now, there are four methods of preparing breads. Number 1, straight dough method. Number 2, delayed salt method. Number 3, no time or emergency method. Number 4, sponge and dough method. By end of this session, you'll be able to learn that how to prepare a dough and different shapes out of it. Straight dough method can be carried out in two ways, manual and mechanical. In manual method, we'll use hand to knead the dough. In mechanical, you can use dough kneader or planetary mixer. Before starting with this straight dough method, I would like to explain the role of each and every ingredient used in bread making process. We'll start with essential ingredients. Number 1, we have refined flour with us. The refined flour is a structure building agent in bread making. Then we have yeast. Yeast is a biological leavening agent. It helps in fermentation. Then we have salt. Salt acts as a retarder. It controls the fermentation process. It also enhances the flavor, taste developer. Then further it acts as a preservative, partial preservative, because after baking it slows down the staling process of bread. Then we have water. Water hydrates all the ingredients and bind them together. So these were essential ingredients. Without these ingredients you cannot prepare bread. Further we have optional ingredients which can enhance the taste, texture, appearance of baked products. In optional we have sugar. Sugar is a food for yeast. Yeast feeds on sugar and produces CO2 and alcohol within the dough. It also acts as a taste enhancer. It is responsible for sweetness in bread. Further, it acts as a coloring enhancer which provides caramelized color over the surface or crust of the final baked bread. It also mellows down the gluten strands present in the dough. Next we have milk powder. Milk powder is used as improver in improving the strength of flour. The quantity of protein is increased because of milk powder, because milk powder has casein into it which imparts the strengthening of flour. Why we are strengthening the flour? Because we do not have strong flour for baked goods in India. Medium strong flour is available, that's why we add milk powder into it. That in turns increases VAP and GRP. VAP stands for water absorption power and GRP stands for gas retention power. So VAP is responsible, or it can be considered as a power of absorbing water of any flour available. For example, if I take 100 grams of flour, 3 different types of flour, first sample may absorb 50%, second sample may absorb 60% and third sample may absorb 70%. So these are the different strengths. The more the absorption of water, the more protein content is there in the flour. Then we have GRP, gas retention power. How long the gluten strands can tolerate the fermentation. How long they can hold the CO2 being produced during fermentation process in the dough. That's GRP. Then we have oil or melted fat. Oil or melted fat acts as a conditioner for gluten strands, because when we knead the dough, the strands of gluten get stressed. So this oil will act as a de-stress. The term gluten keep popping up whenever we discuss about bread making. So what is gluten? Is it a protein? Is it present within the flour? No. Gluten is formed. It is formed because of two insoluble proteins present in refined flour. Those are gliadin and glutenin. Gliadin is responsible for stretchability and glutenin is responsible for strength of flour. So how gluten is formed? When we start kneading the dough, what we are doing? We are introducing moisture in terms of water. Water goes in refined flour and it binds those insoluble proteins while kneading process. That's how gluten forms. As we have discussed different types of bread making method, now we are going to prepare bread with straight dough method. Here we have basic ingredients of bread making. We can segregate these ingredients into two parts. One is essential, second one is optional. In essential ingredients we have refined flour, yeast, salt, water. These are essential for bread making. Without these ingredients, you cannot make bread. Moving further, we have sugar, granulated sugar, milk powder, milk, egg, melted fat or oil properly with chlorinated water, because this is your working surface and it should be free from any microbial contamination. Very first process, you need to sieve refined flour along with powder. Now here, why we are using milk powder? As we have discussed in theory classes, it has been already covered that there are three types of flour available for bakery products. One is strong, second one is medium strong, and third one is soft flour. The strong flour is used for bread making, medium strong is used for cake and pastries, and weak or soft flour is used for cookies. While sieving flour, you should be careful that you should not spread it too much over the table. This is the way you just hit the sieve on your palm. You have sieved this. First, if there is any foreign object, it will be removed. Second, aeration. And third, mixing of dry ingredients evenly. Why we haven't added the salt before sieving? Because if we add salt before sieving, it will be sieved out with the sieve and it will not give that impact in gluten strengthening as well as a retardant. We can use dough scraper to make a heap of this refined flour. You make your hand formation like this and move just in the center of heap. Prepare a bake or well. You need to have measured amount of, as per the recipe, measured amount of lukewarm water. In this lukewarm water, we'll be using essential ingredient, that is yeast. Just add it. Now there are two ways you can divide the measured water into two equal parts. In one part you can mix sugar, in second part yeast, but we can always go with single solution of yeast and sugar. Now there are three types of yeast available for bakers and brewers. The scientific name of yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. The category of yeast. The first type of yeast is dry yeast. Second type of yeast is instant yeast. And the third type, fresh or cake yeast, what we are using here. Now add sugar into it. Mix it properly. Now you need to add the solution of yeast and sugar in the center. Now using the scraper, we'll add the refined flour. Why we are using this manual method of preparing dough? Because when you use machine, you'll not be able to feel the texture and this different steps of gluten formation or kneading process. So that's why in the practical classes we use this process so that the students of culinary art can understand different stages of kneading process. Further, in industry you can always use machines such as dough kneaders and planetary mixers. Gently start mixing this. The movement should be like this. This will help in forming gluten strands. Be careful with walls of this bake, otherwise You will be struggling handling this liquid in the center. Now you can see we have a slurry formation. It's time to mix the dry flour into it. Now use dough scraper to scrape off scrape off the stretch and fold method. Stretch, fold, stretch, fold. Keep on repeating this until you get a smooth, fine texture of the dough. As you can observe, we have obtained a smooth texture by kneading the dough with stretch and fold method. At this point, we'll add measured amount of oil into it. Again, the same process will be followed. Stretch and fold. Why are we using oil in dough making? When we use oil, it helps in stretchability as well as it increases palatability of the bread, and it helps in retaining moisture into bread. Now you can observe the stretchability of dough is more as compared to before adding oil into it. If your dough sticks to the table, you can always use dough scraper to remove it. Now how to check that your dough is done and kneaded properly? Take a small piece out of the dough. Stretch it gently and check if there is a film formation like window pane structure. We call it window pane structure. A translucent see-through film is forming, then your dough is done. Here you can observe this very thin film is forming. So it shows the stretchability level. You can also see my gloves underneath. Here you can observe this is window pane. Further, to smoothen up the dough surface, we will be using this crisscross method. See, it got smoothened. To get it ready for fermentation, what we need to do, we need to tuck in the edges beneath. There are two methods. Either you can stretch and fold like this. Stretch it towards yourself and fold, tuck in. Or from the edges, keep on moving this and fold the edges in the center. My hand movement goes like this. Just check beneath it that it's being sealed properly or not. If there is any chance of tiny holes, seal them. Now we'll keep this round ball for first fermentation in a greased ball. Now we'll check the dough. if it's being fermented properly or not. From the proving chamber, here's the dough. You can see the dough is double in its size as we have kept it before. Checking if the fermentation is done, you need to break it like this. You can see the net air pocket formation. After proofing, we have checked the net formation or honeycomb structure within the dough. Now what we'll do knockback or punching. Why we are doing this? Just to even out the core temperature and outer surface temperature of the dough. Further, to even out the air pocket formation. This way is punching and this is knockback. Just get it flattened. You can also check the temperature. The temperature is even now. Hold the edges towards the center to again form a round ball, which we are supposed to keep for second fermentation. Here we again need to be careful that we need to seal the bottom properly, otherwise the CO2 while second fermentation can escape from any leak hole. Now flip it with very gentle hand. Again seal it, put it in proving chamber and proof the dough until it becomes double in its size. How to make proper roundels for bread rolls? First, just flatten the weighed dough ball properly. Fold the edges toward the center. And seal them. Flip it. Now, with the help of your thumb and small finger and the edge of your palm, just roll it gently. You can see there's a formation of round ball. Is going perfect. Now, at this stage, just check if there is any unsealed part. So, there is no unsealed part at this point. If there is any, you can seal it always. Now, I'll show you how to shape bread rolls in different fancy shapes. Initially, you need to sprinkle or dust flour. The work table. Take the measured dough ball, flatten, then roll it into cylindrical rope shape and make sure you seal the edges. Keep even pressure on the both ends. Move your hands like this. The very first shape we'll prepare is an open knot. Take one end, insert it, you can stretch it, and here you go. Proving chamber for final proofing in a baking. Before keeping it in proving chamber, we need to apply egg wash over it so that it will avoid skin formation on the top crust, and it will also help to retain the CO2. The final fermentation process, the final proofing, the CO2 produced within this shape will be retained because of that egg wash. Further, in baking it has a different role. We'll explain it further. The next shape is closed knot. Again flatten. Make a cylindrical rope-like structure by sealing the edges. Make sure you glide your hands and enough room is there for your hand movement. As you can observe, the stretchability level, while I'm pressing it, it's getting stretched and afterwards it's shrinking. This time we'll prepare a long rope-like structure. Hold it like this, get this edge, then press them tightly so that you get stick to it and not ready release. Next shape is shape of S, snail. Start holding the opposite ends. And reverse from this side. Of snail S. Next we have shape of 8. Take 1/3, hold it like this, overlap your finger, lift the other edge and insert this end. Shape of 8, ready. Next shape is spiral bread roll. Now what we need to do is we just twist this rope in opposite direction like this. Once or twice will be enough, like this, and lift the edges. It will get spiraled on its own. Now what we'll do, we'll just fold it, fold it, fold it, and then insert the edge. Now we'll prepare a different shape called owl's eye. Hold it like this, keep one finger like this, insert from the bottom, lift. Same goes this side. Insert from the bottom. Ready. Now we'll prepare a braided bread shape. Now for this you need to divide your dough ball into 2 parts, or you can also divide it into 3 parts, but I have divided it into 2 parts. And this time keep the edges slightly thin. Now we have 2 different parts. You just need to assemble them. Place it in the center like this with the gentle press, and now just fold it like a bread. You can stretch it. At the end, just twist the last edge and fold it downwards. Now we have a bread stand. We prepare shape of 8 with double knot. Take 1/3, lift this edge, hold it here, then you just need to twist it once beneath it, hold it and insert this edge from this side. There's one more shape of snail fold. Just make thin edges this time. And start rolling them towards the center. ready. Now this time we'll prepare shape of normal flower. We need to check beneath there is no holes, loose ends. That's some flower work. Cut. We have shape of flower ready with us. This time we have clubbed two dough balls together to form a sliced braid shape and cut it slantingly. Twist, again cut it, twist in opposite direction. Why we are dusting refined flour over it? Just to seal the bleeding edges. So we have 11 different shapes of bread rolls ready for glazing. For glazing, we use egg wash. Egg wash. In egg wash, we use a pinch of salt, few drops of milk, and whole egg. The movement of applying egg wash goes like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it. You can see now the bread shapes came out of proving chamber. They are properly proofed. Final shape is ready for baking. Now we can also apply some flax seeds, poppy seeds, sesame seeds, black sesame seed, white sesame seed, onion seeds. As per your wish, you can apply them. We'll apply flax seeds on the knot. Give a nice highlight appeal. They will go for baking now at 200 to 210 degrees Celsius for around 10 minutes. Before baking, we should spray with a gentle amount of water so that the seeds, the dry seeds which we have garnished over them should not burn, and this moisture will also help the bread to rise properly and give it a firm look. Now our bread rolls are ready. Now what we need to do now is we'll place them on cooling water. We'll apply butter wash or oil wash over it. We'll prefer using butter, melted butter. By doing so, we are making the surface, the outer surface or crust of bread soft. After this, after oil wash or butter wash, we'll cover these freshly baked breads with damp cloth. So we let them rest for a while so that the structure, the air pocket structure which has been formed during baking also gets stiff and flexible so that they can regain its shape if we press them every way. Now we have freshly baked bread rolls in this. I'm covering this with a damp cloth. We let them cool down. Now our breads are ready to serve. How to check that they are properly baked or not? You just press them and they'll regain its shape again. It should be spongy. You can see it's regaining its shape again. it will regain shape. I'm pressing it like this. See, I've pressed it completely and it will regain its shape. I hope after this session you all have learned step-by-step process of bread baking and the science behind it. Now you can prepare these beautiful shapes. Thank you.